I'm Ryan from ExtremeTerrain.com, and this is my review of the Fox 2.0 ATS Steering Stabilizer fitting all 2007 and up JKs. Today we're going to talk through the installation of this stabilizer as well as some of the features and the way it's built. When it comes to steering stabilizers, there is a lot of misinformation out there. If your steering is set up properly on your Jeep, a steering stabilizer is a luxury and not a necessity. It will help to absorb some of the shock that you might otherwise feel from hitting bumps on the road that would normally get transferred from the tires through the steering linkage and up into the steering wheel. But that's all it's designed to do, is to dampen that shock. If you have a shimmy or a wobble or any other poor steering characteristics, even a bump steer situation, a steering stabilizer is not going to fix that problem. A steering stabilizer may cover up a wobble or help to fix death wobble temporarily because, again, it's covering it up, but all you're going to end up doing is blowing out your new steering stabilizer and still having the same suspension issue. If you have a wobble, if you have bump steer, if you have death wobble, take care of that problem. There are ways to diagnose and fix those issues. Once that's taken care of, then if you have a leaking or broken steering stabilizer, certainly replace it if you choose to. However, this is not a cure for all steering geometry and suspension issues. All of that being said, this is going to be for those of you who have Fox ATS shocks on your Jeep and you want a steering stabilizer that matches. This is a very well-built stabilizer. This is also an adjustable stabilizer. However, for what 99.9% of us do with our Jeeps, this is going to be massively overkill. This, again, if you have a properly set up steering on your Jeep, the factory OEM replacement steering stabilizer is perfectly fine to install on your Jeep for the vast majority of us, even if you're running a large 37-inch tire. If everything else is set up properly, an OEM replacement stabilizer is just fine. So this is really just going to be for those of you who have the additional funds and want a steering stabilizer that matches the shocks on the rest of your Jeep. Or for that 0.01% of you that are doing hardcore desert racing and high-speed off-road driving and actually need a tunable steering stabilizer that is of this caliber. Now, there are two different versions of the stabilizer on the website. However, they're actually the same steering stabilizer. One is just designed for the stock or 1 3/8" tie rod, where the other is designed for a larger 1 5/8" tie rod. So the difference really comes down to this mount that's over here. The stabilizer, again, is going to be exactly the same. And what you're getting is a 2-inch body 6061 aluminum steering stabilizer that is nitrogen charged with an external reservoir. Again, this is adjustable, so you can really tune in the firmness of the steering stabilizer if you choose to do that. Either way, this is designed to mount in the factory location, so you won't have to drill anything to get this bolted up. Because this is designed to bolt in the factory location and there's no drilling to get it installed, I give this a very simple 1 out of 3 wrenches. All you're going to need are your traditional hand tools and about an hour of time. The first step is, of course, removing your factory steering stabilizer, which you'll do by removing the bolts at both ends, and then simply reinstall your new steering stabilizer. You will want to turn the steering wheel all the way lock to make sure that you're not bottoming out the new stabilizer, because this mount is adjustable on the tie rod. So you'll want to install it, turn the wheels all the way to one side, make sure that it's not going to hit before you tighten everything up. This is a very expensive steering stabilizer, and as I mentioned, this is not necessary for the vast majority of you. However, if you've spent big money on the rest of your suspension and you want a Fox steering stabilizer to match the rest of your shocks, this is certainly available. You have to have the big budget for it, and you have to know that the majority of us aren't going to use this to its fullest potential, but if this is something you're interested in to make it match the rest of your system, here it is. So if you're looking for a steering stabilizer to match the rest of your Fox shocks, or you're in that very small portion of the population that actually needs a steering stabilizer that's fully adjustable and as well built as this one is, this is going to be a great option, although it does carry a price tag to go along with it. However, if you're somebody who's having suspension or steering issues from a wobble, death wobble, or bump steer, those are all problems that are solvable, but this is not the solution. Make sure that your suspension is properly set up before installing a new steering stabilizer, and you're going to be happy. So that's my review of the Fox 2.0 Performance Series ATS Steering Stabilizer, fitting all 2007 and up JKs that you can find right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.